All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Kuntop, for making time in the morning for us. I'll do a quick introduction and let's get started. So just a quick note of introduction. My name's Altir Konpadumshivit, and I'll be your moderator for this session. Um, I'm currently a fifth year PhD candidate at Yale University in anthropology and environmental studies, and incidentally, researching cryptocurrency. I'm also currently working as the right hand to the CEO of Art Community, top global Web3 collective. And previously, it was my honor to co-chair the BOD for ATSA. And I'm delighted to see how this virtual career fair organized back then by Tanya and the Expo has kind of grown year on year. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce our distinguished guest today, Kuntop Dirayut Saksi Sopa. He's the founder and CEO of Bitkub Capital Group Holdings, Thailand's largest company in blockchain technology and digital assets. Committed to reshaping the financial landscape, Kuntop and Bitkub are at the forefront of blockchain and digital assets innovation in Thailand and the region. One of the country's leading Bitcoin and blockchain experts with years of experience in the industry, Kuntop has appeared in over 1,000 engagements in places like the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, and in Tianjin, China, positioning him as a prominent figure in global financial dialogues and blockchain communities. Kuntop is also an executive board member and vice president of the Thai FinTech Association. He holds an MPhil in economics at Oxford University, and his academic achievements include an honorary degree in digital economy from Rangsit University, demonstrating his important contributions as the youngest recipient of this honor in Thailand. So these professional and academic recognitions, many of them, underscore his influence in the development of Thailand's digital economy. And again, we're very delighted to welcome you to the stage for ATSA's virtual career fair Fireside chat. So with that, let's get this discussion started. We have about 30 minutes of moderated discussion and 10 minutes of Q&A today. And so yeah, the first topic I'd love to jump in on is your own professional journey and learnings. So yeah, what key lessons in early career decisions could you share with the audience today, mostly kind of undergrads and a couple postgrads in this career fair, and especially kind of like with attention to this balance between undergrads thinking about aspirations and kind of like wanting to go far in their career, but also wanting to pursue their passion. So could you share a bit of your learnings from your own journey and how you got here? Thank you.
Sure. First of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here this morning. I was reading economics at university, right? And as a traditional economics student, we were trained to climb the career ladder, especially graduating from Oxford. We have our egos, right? We have to get into these institutions like Goldman Sachs, BCG, McKinsey, to chase that paychecks. But luckily, I decided to not, optimize for paychecks. Partly because I was studying really hard, right, at university. I had no life for like 5 years. I was revising 12 hours, 7 days a week, 5 years straight. So I had no life. I was camping out in the library. I didn't have like a normal university life, like other kids. So after graduation, right. So after graduation, I wanted to. I told you, sorry, everyone. So I had enough, right? So after graduation, I was optimizing for expenses. So I came across Bitcoin very early in my first career. I was exploring what I like, what I dislike during my first career. So as a traditional economic student, I started as an investment banker, but instead of going for a big company like Goldman Sachs, and you're going to be like one of the smallest guys doing the same task every day, not seeing the whole picture, I decided to go for a very small firm, a boutique investment banking firm. And I was a very important person there, right? So I get to see the overview. I was optimizing not for brand names or for paychecks, but really for experiences and for the opportunity. But instead of joining the top law firms, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange League, right? I was joining this pink sheet stuff, like the Wolf of Wall Street stuff, like penny stocks. So there were no regulations. So you're more free to do stuff. And that's when I discovered Bitcoin early. And I also found out that corporate job wasn't for me, right? I was working very hard, very determined. Everything got stuck at the manager level. So I was annoyed, right? And I discovered early that entrepreneurship is not for me. But then I decided to give myself another chance. I tried consulting as well for a few weeks. So my first career as an investment banker only last for 2.5 months, right? And consulting job was only a few weeks, and that wasn't for me either, right? I had enough of research during my university time. Cannot do that for the rest of my career. And I decided to try my consulting job in San Francisco, and that's when I discovered entrepreneurship. So I was exposed to things outside the box. I was taught to climb career ladder as well, especially coming from top university. But then I discovered entrepreneurship also very early. I discovered Bitcoin in Shanghai very early. Then when I found out that consulting wasn't for me, I flew back home and started the first Bitcoin company in our country, in Thailand, 11 years ago. So I'm like an OG already in this space, which has only been around for 15 years, 16 years. I've been in this space for 11 years, almost 12 years. Founded the very first Bitcoin company in our country. And in the past 11 years, I thought my university life was tough, but doing things that people, don't understand is even tougher. I was the pioneer in the space. I was the first to launch the products, the first to solve the regulation issues. I got, I had problems with the anti-money laundering officers for money laundering investigations, the Bank of Thailand for doing business without a license, a proper license. There were no licenses actually. I had an issue with the RD revenue department on how to pay taxes. They were accusing me of avoiding taxes with Bitcoin transactions. Had issues with the SEC. So I've been through all of this stuff, and I'm still failing every year on new bigger and bigger problems and issues. And now Bitkub is becoming like a critical infrastructure for Thailand, right? We're like banks now, like Stock Exchange of Thailand now. So I have to change myself every year to keep up with the growth and a new chapter of a company each year. My lessons learned and things that I would like to share with all of you here today is number one, please do not optimize for paychecks, right? You guys are very young. I was very young, and you should really optimize for skill sets and opportunities. Find that niche, and be a specialist in something rare. Don't be a specialist in things that people can do, things that many people can do, because you're going to be useless, right? And it's not good to be useless in a world that requires attention. And in other words, I have to borrow this saying from Jeff Bezos, right? You have to find this important truth. You have to be the minority group of people that find this important truth, that the majority of the people are wrong, right? I was the minority that was right about Bitcoin, whereas the majority were wrong 11 years ago. People thought it was a Ponzi scheme, toy money, drug money, don't go anywhere near it, right? Stock Exchange of Thailand, banks, they did not believe in this technology. And also the world is very different now. In our parents generation, in the grandparents generation, they can easily afford a house, right? A house is only 3 times their salary. So it's okay to climb the career ladder, right? You can live a fairly good life, right? But it's not the same for our generation. The financial system is pretty broken, right? Um, you're not gonna get a big payout as an employee, as a climbing career ladders. There's no professional who's on the Forbes list. Okay, apart from Steve Ballmer of Budbuddy, he has Microsoft shares. So make sure you so my number one suggestion is to optimize for skill sets, but not a common skill set, right? Find that niche, be a specialist in something rare. Second, you have to find this important truth that you're the minority that is right about something that the majority are wrong. And third, just really stop talking about work-life balance. It's bullshit. Especially when you're young, you just have to work your ass off. Right? You can have your work-life balance later on in life, but when you're in your 20s, 30s, just get shit done. Right? That's when you want to try as many things as possible. You want to fail every year. You want to push your comfort zone, right? And you see, you will enter the magic zone once you really push the comfort zone. Right? Do things that scares you every day. Right? And because people are asking me related questions like, okay, but how do I find this important truth? And you're not gonna find niche, a special niche or important truth when you're not pushing your comfort zone. Be a yes man, right? Try new things every day. And I have to also borrow Steve Jobs' word. The dots will be connected backwards. You're connecting the dots backwards. You first, but before you're connecting the dots backwards, you have to create dots, right? You have to experiment. You have to try new things. Like me, I created my first dot in Shanghai. I discovered Bitcoin. I discovered entrepreneurship in San Francisco. I created the 2 dots, right? I did economics. I studied the evolution of monetary history, right? So I connected the dots backwards. And arriving at my unique important truth. So my third advice is to do things that scare you every day. Push your comfort zone, and you arrive at a unique destination. And my fourth advice. So my third advice is also to really get shit done, right? Stop talking about work-life balance. It's really all bullshit. I haven't seen a successful person who is not going not is not all in what he or she is pursuing. Right? To be the best in the field, whatever field, you have to put in effort, right? My fourth suggestion would be since time is limited, you should really invest in something that has an asymmetric output ratio, asymmetric impact. In other words, you should invest in something with activities with limited downside, but unlimited upside gain. Limited downside risk, but unlimited upside gain. And there are many things, many of those activities that are that meet that criteria. For example, investing is one of the activities that provides limited losses, but unlimited gains. Right. For example, if you start investing in Bitcoin with 1 million Thai baht, endowment, right? Capital, initial capital. What's the worst that could happen? Bitcoin goes to zero. You lost 1 million Thai baht. That's the maximum loss. Can you lose 100 million? You can't, right? Because you only have 1 million capital. You have limited downside risk protection. What's the upside? It could be millions, 100 million, a billion, right? Who knows? So investing is one of those leverage activities that we should focus on, since time is limited. Another thing would be to start a company, for example. For instance, if you have 1 million Thai baht and you start a company, what's the worst that could happen? You lost that one initial capital. Can you lose 100 million? You really can't, because it's company limited. That's the maximum capital registration of your company. That's the maximum you can lose. What's the best that could happen? You could create another Bitkub, right? It could be another unicorn. Could be another Facebook, could be another Google. So unlimited gains, limited downside risk. How many advices now? What's my next advice? My fifth advice would be to do things that scale, right? And compound, compounding, similar concepts to a compounding interest, the eighth miracle of the world. But in fact, there are other aspects of life that compounds, not beyond just money, right? Beyond just interest. But the key to compounding is you have to really do it long enough. Right? Same for investing. Right? Warren Buffett only gained most of his wealth at a later stage, right? Of this exponential compounding effect of investing. You have to do it long enough, and many other aspects of life do scale and compound. For example, reputation. Reputation compounds. Connection, right? Connection is also another thing that compounds. Also expertise, if you do it long enough, but people usually give up too early. For example, entrepreneurship, right? I could start a third company that is not related to cryptocurrency at all, but I would be able to compound my entrepreneurship skills, right? It compounds. My third company would be much easier. Look at Bitkub, for instance. Bitkub is my second cryptocurrency company. The first company was sold to Gojek, right? For 100 million USD. It was the biggest deal ever in our region already back then. But Bitkub is already much bigger at a shorter period of time. I could scale my second company much quicker because my entrepreneurship skill compounds. But you have to do it long enough, right? To see the effect, the impact. So make sure that you invest in things that scale and compound. Also, we're living in a different world. We don't really trust institutions anymore, right? You don't trust the US government, you trust Trump, you don't really believe in Tesla, you believe in Elon, right? So also your personal reputation is important and it stays with you, right? So make sure you invest in that also. What other advices? Next advice, I've invest in, get some Bitcoin, or if you don't have one already. Seriously, it's just the best investment assets of our generation. It may not be for our parents' generation or grandparents' generation, but every generation is different. We're living in a world where currency debasement is occurring every year at 11% rate, and people get confused between inflation and currency debasement. But if you really dig deep on other asset classes, there's no other asset classes that would be able to, maintain your wealth for you. S&P 500 uh, would give you 11% return on average, right? On average, you're not really your future self would not really be thanking you for that, right? You're not really growing your wealth with 11% return. Um, Keeping money in a bank, buying real estate, you your future self would be cursing you for that, actually. There's no other asset classes that would really keep up with this currency debasement apart from investing in technology and cryptocurrency in our generation. You're earning 100% on year, on average, despite the winter, right? The crypto winter, cryptocurrency could go down by 70, 80% in that year. But if you hold it long enough on a 4-year cycle, you're earning an average of 100% return. And you don't see this premium anywhere. And this is like the best time. But many people do not know this. Also, when you have enough money or when you coming back to investing, make sure that you're not making the same mistakes as a common man on the street, right? If a common man on the street make his first million, he would go out and buy this, I don't know, Rolls Royce or a house. Do not have this consumer mindset. You really have to understand how our economy works, right? There are 3 parts of the economy. You have to stop trying to stop yourself from becoming a consumer, because you can't compound your wealth otherwise. You have to be on the other side of the spectrum. You have to try to own a part of the economic machine that people pay you, like, every year. Try to build your income, passive income, and it compounds also. So, believe it or not, I've made a lot of money, to be honest, in the past 11 years. I still have no house. I have no houses. I have no cars. These are liabilities. It's not an asset. It's not the same as our previous generation. Trust me, right? We treasure freedom more than anything now in our generation. You don't want to buy things that tie you down, right? Imagine if you buy a big house, you think you have security, but really you're in prison, or you have to you get right, you become sad, for example, when your Rolls Royce is dirty, right? It created fake happiness, and people normalize things also. Once you hit, I don't know, once you get your first Mercedes, your Mercedes has always been your ceiling, right? Once you achieve that, it became your floor, and then you look for another for the sports car. Once you achieve the sports car, it became your floor. Then the next ceiling would be a Rolls Royce. It's it's the wrong dopamine that you're chasing. I would say if you want to be a consumer, invest in stable chemicals, not dopamine stuff. Right? Invest in serotonin, oxytocin stuff that builds a strong foundation. For example, like health. Right? Health is the new wealth. Make sure you do your epigenetic test every year. Make sure that you ace your pace of aging. Make sure that your biological age, is lower than your chronological age. Make sure you have a healthy, gut health. You make sure you invest in maintaining your wealth early, to to make sure that you have your serotonin in place, oxytocin in place. If you get a house, and my point about a house is that you're gonna be too busy with what color of my chairs, my sofa, would I like? You're gonna be tied down to not be able to have the full freedom to try new things, explore new opportunities, travel the world, and especially you're gonna lose a big chunk of your money instead of having that money compound, right? So I'm a strong believer of not being of using every capital you have to own a part of the economic machine instead of being a consumer. Right? Obviously, if it's like a fraction of your money is fine, right? If a Rolls Royce is only like 1% of your wealth or something, that's another case. Yeah, so that's a quick suggestion for me.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is wonderful. There are a ton of great insights from your own career journey, and I'm sure I'm seeing questions kind of roll in. And I think maybe the other kind of thing before we jump into Q&A is I'm curious like what you're seeing in terms of emerging trends in crypto and digital economy. And I mean when I'm hearing asymmetric risk, I'm thinking about all the infra projects I've been hearing about in the past few weeks and months. Um, and also like if ETH, Solana, and everything doesn't pump, I'm in trouble doing my PhD. So I'd love to hear kind of like what do you think where are the future trends going? And also how is Thailand positioning itself within this kind of like economic machine and kind of global financial global almost like crypto or financial landscape? Yeah.
I think you're on the right track. Cryptocurrency market can only be much bigger, like in the next decade, right? It's only a $3 trillion market now. We're gonna hit 100 trillion in the next 10 years, right? You're on the right track, but make sure you don't like your only job is to not lose money and to not get this dopamine addiction and go for all the meme coins and not lose all your money, right? And leverage and do all the margin trading. Stick to the main ones like Bitcoin. You can have like, I don't know, give yourself 10% to go crazy if you want. But the majority of your asset should be on like the main chain and ride the wave. It should hit 100 trillion, right? And if you look at the pace of how fast the BlackRock ETF is growing compared to the gold and the previous other ETFs, it's definitely hitting 100 trillion in the next decade. So you're on the right track. But also with the arrival of AI, marginal cost of and also the arrival of 3D printing, right? We're going to reach this universal basic income very soon. All the automation is coming. We're going to achieve this marginal cost of production is going to zero, and marginal cost of service is going to zero. We can do more with less, right? With AI. And we're in the stage, we're moving towards a chapter that everything in the Silicon Valley will be automated, right? AI can create a website, can create a company, can automate every aspect of digital economy going forward. Same for crypto. Crypto is also going to automate Wall Street, right? Wall Street, Silicon Valley, the tech boom is now being disrupted with AI. So we see two divergence. So, and the bad thing about how economy works is that being a retail customer, like, you can't really do much. You can't really be a participant in this trend if you're just being a consumer, right? The best you could do is to invest in whatever, like, Microsoft stocks or Meta, Facebook, Google. But what's your maximum gain? You could do 5x on the most important technology ever in human history. That's like nothing, right? If Microsoft now like $2 to $3 trillion, you could go up to like 10 trillion or whatever, then you can only get like 2-3x on the most important technology ever created by human. That's like nothing. So you have to be on the creator side. You have to be an entrepreneur on the tech entrepreneur, but that's also risky. It's a winner takes all. Less than 1% make it. Right? But also you see a divergence uh in it's like a K shape, right? People are now craving for AI and all these tech disruptions and trends, but also we see at the divergence. People are also craving nature now. Right? You could run a local tour company in Chiang Mai, going around the forest, camping out uh, mm, in the forest. To there's like a, I heard there's like a growing like coffee shop in Amsterdam now, that they can't they don't allow you to bring your phones like or use your phones inside, right? It's all about reading and knitting in that cafe, and it's really booming. So people are also craving the opposite, right? So you could also go through that uh opposite AI route, the digital route as well. Um, so I would say the biggest trend of the future would be, mostly one is cryptocurrency. It's going to hit $100 trillion. It's going to replace Wall Street and many other things. Another trend would be things that technology cannot do, because when contents are becoming so cheap, when automation makes everything becoming so cheap, or like all the digital resources becoming so cheap, additional, because there's no marginal cost of production, zero, goes to zero. Then people are going to crave the opposite. They're going to go for the opposite. Another emerging trend would be to fix our food system. Like, follow this guy. Like, trust me, Brian Johnson. Longevity is like crypto back in 2013. So in my generation, I'm the first to start the crypto company, right? When nobody attended these crypto conferences 11 years ago. Right now, it's the same for Brian Johnson. He hosted this Don't Die Summit, right, in Singapore. And there are only a few audiences in his room. It's like crypto. It reminds me of crypto 11 years ago. So this thing is gonna take off. Longevity, and um, uh, not only our food system is broken, our healthcare system is also pretty broken. We can't really call it healthcare. We have to call it sick care. People are sick first before they go to hospital, right? So the two new emerging trends would be longevity, fix the healthcare system, and also food system, like vertical farming, for example, and also nature stuff.
For sure. There's
Yeah.
there's so much there. I mean, things that tech can't do. We hosted Brian Johnson in Singapore, and it was really fun to see him in person. And it was like, wow, this guy. And we have, I think, a bunch of colleagues and myself have been trying his supplements, the olive oil and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, very interesting how he's able to like live this lifestyle and really create data set for people to try to operate differently. And so yeah, I think given this kind of like changing world, changing ecosystem and all of that, I think we have time for maybe one of the top questions I'm seeing recurring a lot in the audience. I guess maybe, at the start you mentioned your first advice was to optimize your niche or your skill set. So with this kind of like changing nature of work, and all of that, what three skill sets would you suggest kind of like students pick up, given the kind of changing nature of work, and future outlook?
So AI is gonna automate it's going to automate 90% of the corporate stuff, corporate jobs, or corporate work. Right now, we are going to work every day and we are not really using our brain, right? So we just the software like Monday, Trello, Slack, all these softwares, like corporate softwares, they're forcing us to just follow the journey, the route. You have to click on this link, copy this, pasting this, filling in this form. You're not really using your brain, right? And soon, 90% of the corporate job would be behind the scene, automated by AI. And you can really prompt engineer the AI to create a company to do all the actions for you even very soon, like create a website, create a marketing policies or strategy, and also execute them, right? Do my accounting for me, you have to be able to prompt engineer the AI. But also, I'm in this. So I've been attending World Economic Forum for 3 years now, 6 times, right? I'm also in this Future of Education Forum. We have year-long sub forum within the WEF, World Economic Forum. So I'm in 2 forums. I'm in the Future of Capital Market and Future of Education. And within that Future of Education Forum, the WEF said it clearly that you should not really be pursuing technical abilities because AI can do that for us. They created a new, and this is based on surveying many people around the world. They're creating a new skill taxonomy, and the useful stuff going forward would be all the soft skills, right? That the AI cannot do, like leadership skills, communication skill, public speaking skill, right? Team working skill, negotiation skill. So make sure you improve on those skills, and be able to navigate AI from engineer on the technical side. But on the non-technical side, make sure you master your leadership skill, team working skill, negotiation skill, public speaking skill, and communication skill. And these are not easy stuff, right? For example, like communication skill. I'm not talking about just verbal. There are 6 senses, right? I'm not just talking about straight like verbal communication skill. Even just verbal, you have to really understand that there are different cultures, right? You have to make sure understand that Thai people, we're in a high context culture, whereas Anglophone countries are low context, right? We're a hierarchical country versus egalitarian from Europe. We're an indirect feedback country versus a direct feedback like Israel and Germany. We're top down versus consensus based when it comes to decision making. We are comfortable with silence. Australians are not really comfortable with silence. So as a leader, you also have to understand cultural differences and be able to communicate and create an environment that works best for other people. You're gonna have to be able to mobilize a big group of people to make an impact, right? In university, you can get away with just yourself, just doing your homework, make sure you revise. But in the real world, nobody can do things alone, right? You have to be able to mobilize a big team. So communication skill is really important, and same with leadership skill, public speaking skill. They're more detailed, right? It's not easy. It's as straightforward as it seems.
Awesome. Yeah, makes a lot of sense thinking about what kind of skills cannot be automated and how do you cultivate that throughout university and beyond and in your especially early careers as many people are navigating that. Another question that came up, a little more practical question. Should people study and work abroad or stay abroad first, or come back to Thailand, for their careers? So would you suggest them going there, coming back, or what should they look towards doing between kind of many of them studying in the US and thinking about coming to Thailand or staying there to work?
I'm a big fan of taking a gap year and travel the world first. Um, and that was my initial goal actually, to be in China for the first time, working there for a few months, and then be in the US for the first time. I was working there for a few weeks, but I don't know if I call this lucky. I discovered Bitcoin early, so I flew back and started a company. But I would encourage you to take a year to travel the world and really learn that the world is very different from books, things you learn in the classroom. Really, the world is very different. Make sure you travel the world, you learn different culture, you experience different temperatures, you different taste, talk to different people, push your comfort zone. And that's all that is also another way you're creating your dots, right? Connecting your dots backwards even. And so my first advice would be to take, if you're just graduating from university, just take a gap year and travel the world. You're going to learn so much in that year. You're going to have new perspective about the world, which is very different from a classroom. My second advice would be to do a lifeline and set clear goals. What would you envision yourself to be like in the next 5 years, in the next like 10 years? And what are you going to have, what you're going to be when you're 50, 60, like, and work backwards to today. And when you have clear goals, then it will force you to make decisions on a macro stuff, right? Macro factor. And when you don't have clear goals, you get nature select them for you. For example, like a group of friends. This is very important. People you hang around with. We don't really make that choice, right, ourselves. During our freshers year, orientation day, the teacher would just group students, randomized like students into groups, and that's it. We are friends for life. Like what the hell? Like we don't get to choose like important decisions like who would be our friend, right? It's all randomized, but then we make constant micro effort into maintaining the relationship. We have to attend their wedding, the funeral, monthly meetups or whatever. We make constant micro efforts without having the liberty to make the macro decision, like who would be a group of friends that I would have to invest the rest of my life in this relationship building. Or things like, what job would I do? But you invest constantly in getting up early every morning, driving to work, constantly pursuing, working hard, but we don't really get to make that macro decision. Yeah. Or which city to live, which country to stay in. And these are not one size fits all. You're asking me, like, is there like a perfect recipe for everyone? Would everyone come back to Thailand? Would everyone go abroad? First of all, like everyone has different goals in life, right? But you have to make that lifeline. Without that lifeline effort, you're gonna have this nature, select them for you on all of the macro decision. Make sure that you are the one that are selecting you're selecting your macro stuff. It's before investing in micro stuff. But many of the people don't have the liberty to do that because they don't have goals, right? They don't have life goals. They're not writing them down in a lifeline and work them backwards.
Awesome. That's super empowering, right? Thinking about the agency of choosing your own decisions and how do you place yourself in positions to thrive, especially given so many things and uncertainties in this world. Looking at time before we end this chat, really, really appreciate so many insights you've shared. Any kind of last comments, advice that you want to leave the audience with today? And apologize to the many, many questions that's come in. I hope that in some ways, your comments have kind of answered them directly or indirectly. But yeah, would love to hear any kind of like last pieces of advice as university students, either kind of like trying to figure out what to do upon graduation or those who've just entered. Yeah, would love to hear yeah, anything from you, sir.
Um, I just went to this Q&A window. I'll just select one interesting question. And I think this is an interesting question to clarify. Right? Somebody said you mentioned the importance of health, but also suggested like neglecting work-life balance and work relentlessly. How can these two ideas coexist? Both physically and mental health, right? To clarify this, and it's a good question, by the way. It's a very good question. Like work your ass off, like really work your ass off. There's no work-life balance. But to get into good health, you need to prioritize sleep. There are three things, right, to get into good health, and you should invest early. Two things that you should invest early, the earlier the better: health and finance, investing. They're both of them are compounds. I'm spending 5 million baht extra per year to fix my health right now. It's like a broken glass. It's never the same once it's broken. So do not make the same mistake as me, guys. And in my generation as an entrepreneur, it was cool to like sleep very little and work really hard. And but that's a wrong. It's just like the biggest misconception. So there are three things to maintaining good health: sleep, diet, and exercise. I guess just we are running short of time. Just follow Brian Johnson stuff, right? Sleep is cool, right? He keeps saying this, right? Don't sleep less. Like proud of being able to sleep 8 hours per day. 8 hours. And within that 8 hours, make sure you have 2 hours of REM, 2 hours of deep. I wear like Whoop strap and Aura ring every night to track that. Yeah, you're wearing one as well. So sleep is cool. You have to evolve your schedule around sleep. But it doesn't mean that you're not working hard. Like you don't um you can start your work early instead of being a night owl. Be a nocturnal. That's gonna destroy your circadian rhythm and your health. You can achieve the same amount of work. Like you can put in the same amount of hours, like 14 hours a day, but the rest you prioritize your sleep. Right? Diet. Stop drinking alcohol, guys. Stop drinking coffee, like caffeine. I stopped them completely this year, and no Coke as well. I used to get home, have a glass of Coke with ice. It was so refreshing, but that is so lethal to your health. No sugar. I think there are 4 or 5 things that you should stop right away, and your future self will thank you for. First, sugar, like zero sugar, please. No sugar on all your diet. Second of all, no refined bad oil. That's pretty lethal. Third, gluten, no gluten. Fourth, no dairy. So maybe just focus on these 4 first. No sugar, no refined oil, no gluten, gluten and no dairy. Right? Or another person I would suggest you to follow would be Mark Heyman, like another longevity guru. Dairy is like cigarettes in our parents' generation. It used to be advertised as a good thing, cigarettes, like being cool, good for your health, and education catches up. Same for dairy. Soon, this is the biggest misconception of our generation. Stop, having dairy and sugar and all these stuff. And exercise. You exercise like 4 times a week, 30 minutes per session. And it's going to help with your work also. Once you have clear mind, you're going to be able to outperform your peers. If your body is not optimized, I made that same mistakes, right? You're not going to be able to maximize all the opportunities that come your way. So work your ass off, like fully committed in what you do it for long enough. Do things that scale and compound, but prioritize your health, right? Don't do all the other things that you think is cool, right? As a teenager, like partying, drinking, smoking, every cigarette takes away 11 minutes of your life. Same with that greasy burger, greasy foods, like 11 minutes of your life gone. I still have no life. I'm sharing with you guys, right? I still have no life, but I can also prioritize my health now. Yeah. I just stopped drinking cold coffee. If you're craving caffeine, just closest thing you can do is to drink green tea with almond milk, not like cow milk, almond milk, and no sugar. No alcohol, make sure you sleep enough. I think out of all, if you can't master your diet or exercise, the most important thing out of all three is sleep. I guess just follow Brian Johnson stuff. He explains everything. Everything I just shared. And in our generation, we will not be showing Rolls Royce. That's gonna be so cheap. All the electric cars with 3D printing stuff coming out and AI automation coming out, all the commodities would be so cheap and everyone would be able to access them easily. So don't invest in those stuff. People will be in our generation, we will be showing off our biomarkers. Right? Invest in your internal organs instead of external stuff, right? External material. So it's a new trend. The new wealth is health, right? You're going to be showing that stuff very soon in our generation. And all the Rolls Royce stuff would be like iPhones. Everyone have them soon, right? With AI and stuff coming. It would be worthless. Yes. So that's my last
Awesome.
for you guys.
Thank you. Love the kind of health and wealth kind of investment, but taking on a new perspective. So really, really appreciate your insights from the kind of like many kind of like career insights, your own professional journey, as well as the kind of thinking about the future. What emerging trends are there? How do we position ourselves in Thailand through university and all of that? I think we're running out of time, but thank you so much for inspirational talk, very empowering to the students who have come here. I hope many of you have benefited from this. And from what I'm told, please stick around for the next few sessions. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of great stuff. I heard Bitkub is also hiring, so please stick around to talk to folks from Bitkub as well. But thank you again so much, Kun Top, and I'll hand it over to the team.
Take care, guys. Thank
Hello, everyone. Well, once again, thank you, Kuntop, for giving such an amazing speech. Now we will be moving on to our company speakers live sessions for today. I'm Nam, the Director of Programming for ATSA, and I would like to once again welcome you all to this year's Virtual Career Fair hosted by ATSA and Job Shotgun. Today, you'll be hearing from 4 amazing companies about their upcoming opportunities for you. In store today, we'll be hearing from Agoda, Travel and Leisure Co., Allnex Thailand, and last but definitely not least, SCBX. Before we get started, I would like to clarify that all 4 live sessions will be on this Zoom link, so you don't need to leave and rejoin for each session. First, we will be hearing from Agoda, one of the largest online travel platforms founded in 2005. Agoda has been transforming travels for millions of customers across the globe. With this, I would like to introduce our speaker of today, คุณธนัท สุขุมธนากูล Head of Global Financial Planning and Analysis at Agoda. In this role, he oversees critical financial functions, including planning, analysis, and risk management. Before joining Agoda, Kun Thanat honed his skills at prestigious institutions like Patarat Securities and Krung Thai Asset Management. With over 13 years of industry experience and advanced degrees from Kellogg School of Management and the University of Michigan, Kun Thanat's expertise is invaluable. There will be a 5-minute Q&A session after this presentation. Feel free to send in your questions via the Q&A feature, not the chat, as we might not be able to get that answered. Let's give Kun Thanat a warm welcome as he shares his insights and experiences with us today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bella. Just want to give a heads up before our session with Bon. I will be first and foremost like sharing a little bit about Agoda, if that's okay with everyone. Okay. I hope you're able to see my screen. Yes. Okay. Everyone will be able to hear me clearly as well. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Hi everyone. I'm not Bon. I'm Bella. I'm from Agoda recruitment team. So I am Indonesian but based in KL office in Agoda. And today I'll be just sharing with you a little bit about Agoda before we hear more from Bon, right? So if you know, Agoda is actually part of Booking Holdings, where under Booking Holdings, there are many brands, not only just Agoda, but we also have Kayak, Priceline, Open Table, Rent a Car, maybe something you've heard before. So it's actually all under Booking Holdings, right? And we have almost 5 million hotels and homes worldwide in more than 200 markets. And not only just hotels, but we also provide things like resort, guest house, bed breakfast, meaning accommodations, and also flights, as well as activities. So in Agoda, we believe in our purpose, which is bridging the world through travel. So any of you here, students who are, always interested about the travel industry and want to be part of the company that bridging the world through travel and take part in the travel tech industry, you should consider Agoda, as we have almost 7,100, not almost, more than 7,100 Agodans worldwide. Very diverse nationalities, almost 100 nationalities across the world, and operating in 27 market. And our headquarters is based in Singapore, with our biggest operational office is in Bangkok, Thailand. In Agoda, we have a big ambitions, right? We are part of Booking Holdings, which is technically the biggest travel company in the world, and we want to be the preferred travel marketplace in Asia Pacific. So that means not only just providing hotel, but we also do it a lot of like B2B. We provide like flights, activities, ground transport as well. And how do we achieve that is by, we are a tech company. Tech is the core. Tech is the soul of Agoda, and part of Booking Holdings allow us to have a group resources. And not only that, we also culture diversity, right? We are trying to mix between the East culture and the West culture and find the middle ground of it. And at the same time, we want to be following the best of the enterprise culture, but at the same time also allowing entrepreneurship and also all the culture around like startup, like innovations. You can pitch your ideas and you own the impact that you do here in Agoda. So just like many other companies, Agoda also has its own core value, and which I believe any one of you here will also have your own values, whether you realize it or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious, you have the value that you believe in, right? And later on, when you choose to work in a company, like it or not, the company's value will also be your values. Work is basically going to take up 70% of your life, literally, right? Monday to Friday. The first thing you think in the morning after you finish up your weekend is going to be work. And the last thing you'll think about on the Friday before you're signing off is also about work. So how can you make sure that, like you choose a workplace that is aligned with what you believe in? You don't have to necessarily, like, oh, I don't think I'm so scientist like what Agoda show, but at least it's something that you can accept. So in Agoda, we believe in integrity, which is doing things the right way, whether people see you or not. Behind the scene, you will still do what's right. We also move fast and be efficient, which is similar to the startup culture. And we love data, right? Data is the drive that we have here in Agoda, the one that drives decision making, the one that drives a lot of decisions we have in Agoda is actually from data, not just from what your boss tell you to do. So in Agoda, every role, even me that is not so analytical as well, campus recruitment, we're also using data in everything that we do. So be a scientist, experiment and measure is how you can succeed. At the same time, we also take ownership of what we do and make a difference. But all these values is wrapped in one last value, which is be direct and respectful. When you work with people that you enjoy working with, like you're making the world traveling with less hassle because you're bridging the world to travel, is how you can make everything happen is with the Agoda core values that you can see reflected in every Agodans you'll see. So in Agoda, 36% are still in the millennials, right? And 51% of us are actually female, which is a good achievement. Not just good, but like a great achievement. A lot of tech companies, they're struggling to get even like 40% to fulfill female in the workplace. But here in Agoda, we have more female than male as a tech company. And if you know, Glassdoor is a website that you can look into like the reviews of companies. We actually scored at 4.3 out of 5, this is like an anonymous, right? And in Agoda, we have this term called Agoda Boomerang, which means they are the Agodans who quit Agoda and then join Agoda again. So we call it Agoda Boomerang. So it's also important for you to choose where you want to go after your work, but at the same time, not just choosing company just because of fancy title, right, that they give to you, but also what is the career progression like when you are already in the company? What's your 3-5 years plan when you're in the company? Is there any opportunity for you to move around, whether it's laterally or also go vertically? So this is how Agoda looking like before. Maybe it's more than 10 years ago. It's like 15 years ago. It's 500 employees. As you can see, the website is a very dodgy looking website. Using Times New Roman looks like a website that will scam your credit card. Like I don't think you'll trust this website to book your hotel. But then because technology has evolved, and you see like now we have more than 7,100 employees, and we have revamped the whole website. Even now, if you compare with 2023, it's already looking so much different. We offer so much thing. Again, not only just B2C, but we also offer B2B2C, B2B, and many type of business that is really impacting the whole travel tech industry. So I mentioned earlier, like the root of Agoda success is a core belief in science, right? So any of you here who are interested to take part, maybe in product department or a tech department. So this is one of the example. If you know, we noticed that people like you like to add things to cart, but never really checked out, right? So we noticed that, okay, then we come up with new feature. It's called price freeze, to see that if you book and then the price goes higher, you can actually pay the frozen price, but if the price go lower, you get the new price. So it's a win-win solution for the customer, right? And that is why we come up with idea, creating hypothesis and test and build it. So just a simple activity here. Which one do you think drives more booking in Agoda? When the booking page is a blue button or when it is a green button? Can any of you maybe just drop in the chat? Which one do you think will have more booking? So this is how data used, right, in everything. Blue, okay, someone mention blue. Okay, we have more people choosing blue. So this decision you said is based on your feeling, right? But then again, in Agoda, we use data to see which one actually drives result. And from the thing from the A/B test that we do, apparently, like when we change the blue to green button, it has more bookings coming every single day. And unique for you, everyone here, everyone will have a different set that you see. You can compare your Agoda app. It will also show differently. So the answer is actually green button. Green button brings more booking to Agoda. Everything you see here, they will have data and also ongoing optimization, and it's always reinventing every day. So just going back to the departments in Agoda, which we also have Bun here. So in Agoda, there's a supply and demand, just like any kind of business, right? On the supply side, you have the business development. You also have the corporate strategy, the one that deals with the big brands. You also have the people, the inner circle, the one that take care of the people in Agoda. You also have the legal teams, CEG, customer experience group, the one that deal with customer support and also anything related to customer support, finance, which is we also have our representation here, Bond, and also product and marketing. Right, so I will give the stage to Bond as he'll be sharing with you his career journey. So please welcome Bond.
Hey guys, you guys hear me okay? Hope so. Thank you and hello. So my name is Tanat, but my nickname is Bond. You can call me Bond. I have been in Agoda for more than 6 years now. I currently am a director of FP&A, so I lead financial planning and analysis responsibility globally for Agoda. And I was there in your shoes many years ago. So hopefully, my career journey can help you a little bit in seeing the opportunities. Back then I also had some questions. Do I go back to Thailand? Do I stay in the US? Or do I move to Singapore? Do I go to Hong Kong? So there's tons of opportunities, right? But I just want to today highlight one interesting opportunity, a big tech company at Agoda having a big presence in Bangkok. So let's start with my career journey. So I'm actually a trained engineer. I graduated from Michigan, bachelor in engineering. Back then, I also did not really know yet what I wanted to get into. And then there was one thing that kind of changed my whole career. I was gonna let you guys guess what this logo is, but it's already reviewed. So yes, it was a CFA exam that I had to take. In the beginning, I had no idea what the CFA was because I was from engineering school, right? But then I saw my friends, they were studying for this big exam with tons of books, and I asked them, hey, what is this CFA thing? And they say, hey, it's if you're just graduating, if you were able to pass this, you can put it in your resume. It will give you like a big advantage over other people, other graduates. So I was like, okay, sounds interesting. So I signed up. I signed up to take the exam without being super naive, and actually cost quite a bit of money. And then back then, I don't know if you guys know CFA exam, they only let you take the exam twice a year, and then you had to be in person, and the exams are all like you have to pencil in all the answers. So that just tells you how long ago it was when I took the CFA exam. So for those of you who don't know what CFA exam is, the Chartered Financial Analyst things that when you pass the exam and you gain enough experience in the financial industry, you can put this equation, you can credit this put this after your name as a CFA, right? It's similar to CPA, where accounting uses there's other equation, there's FRM for risk and other things, right? So CFA is a lot more for like financial analysts and stuff like that. So I took it. I spent months studying, and I passed level 1. So I was like, okay, I spent so much time and so much money into passing this level 1 exam. Might as well just try to go into the financial industry. And back then, I wanted to come home, so because I spent quite a few years in the States already. Wanted to be closer to my parents, want to spend a bit more time at home. So I came back and I just joined the first sort of financial company that I talked to. So it was Gong Thai Asset Management. So if you click one more time. So Gong Thai Asset Management is an asset management arm of Gong Thai Bank. I think you guys already know what this bank is. So I joined and then I spent a few years working as a product manager and then also studying for so CFA. There's 3 levels, by the way. Every time you take it, it costs about like $1,000 to sign up, and also it's like 3 to 4 months of studying. So throughout my journey in beginning of my journey in the financial industry, I was working at the Quantifiable Asset Management and also taking the exam at the same time. And I was able to pass, luckily, unfortunately, I was able to pass level 2 and 3 as well. And then toward the end, I had a chance to become a fund manager, managing a very small funds, small equity funds, but it gave me really good experience in analyzing the company, gave me a chance to talk to the C-suites of the listed company, understanding the company strategy, their plan for growth, and what it means to the stock price, right? So that was really interesting time. But then after a while, I felt like I wasn't really in the room as being a part of discussion of. So when I talked to them, all the plans already finalized, already in the presentation. I wasn't a part in how they built up this plan, and I found it being sort of outside looking in, right? I wanted to see what it's like to being with the executive, coming up with all these great ideas and great plan in driving growth for your company. So that's when I decided to go back to school. So I went to MBA at Kellogg, Northwestern. So go Cats as well as Go Blue. I saw Go Blue in the message, so thank you. So I went back to Kellogg for an MBA. Sorry, in the slide you can maybe click a few times. One more time. So I went back to Kellogg and MBA. It was a really good decision, I would say, especially someone who came from an engineering background. It really gave me much wider understanding of the other side of the business, right? Like you heard about marketing, you heard about I took finance, I had experience in finance, but going to MBA, the stuff that they taught you are more evolved around like the business case and the way that they see things. It's less about theory, but more about how it applied to the real world situation, real company situation in the past. So it's really interesting. But then when it comes time to pick the career again, I didn't want to sort of waste all those time studying for CFA and all those money paid to take the exam. So I went back into the financial industry, but on a different side of the financial services. So if you click one more time. So I had a chance to spend a few months at BAMO, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, in the Singapore and Hong Kong offices during in the summer. It was really interesting experience. But at the end of the day, I knew that I still wanted to come home and be closer to my parents. So I came back and joined investment banking team at Patra. And also it was really good experience in the beginning. The learning curve was really steep. I learned a lot of things. But after a while, I felt something similar that I felt when I was at Quantifiable Asset Management. So I felt that the culture itself, like I don't really fit in to the culture, to the Thai culture, the Thai working culture. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not my cup of tea, right? Like there's quite a bit of seniority, there's quite a bit of hierarchical things going on in the team. So with that in mind, I felt like, okay, maybe it was time to make a move again. I started exploring. And that's when somebody from Agoda contacted me, right? So I applied for the commercial finance manager. So it's a bit of a finance function within a big tech company. And I didn't know what to expect back then, right? Even 6-7 years ago, Agoda it was quite relatively bigger, but it was much smaller than where we are today. So I went to the office to interview, and I was really surprised because in the office in Bangkok, I did not talk to one Thai person at the office. And then I had no idea there was such a diverse international company in Bangkok at Central World. So the office is at Central World, right? So back then, So luckily I was also able to join the team. My boss was English. The people in my team are from Australia. Somebody who sat next to me was from Greece, from Belgium. So it's very diverse group of people, and the culture itself is it's super refreshing, right? It's like you're back in the state, back in your uni day. People are super driven, super outspoken, and it was something that I felt immediately that there was some place that I can stay. But it's been 6 years, so it's been quite a long time. So what got me to stay for so long? So one thing that I think is unique about Agoda is that so number one, company is moving really fast, right? So you keep doing new things all the time. From some example is okay, like let's say I want to launch a new features, a new product. If we can launch a proper one, it would take us maybe 6 months to do, but we don't know yet if it's going to work. So why don't we just put up something, what we call here is MVP, minimal viable product. So like something really wonky, a bit broken, just put it up there. Like spend a month doing something like with like the skeleton of a product, put it up there. It will break. Some people will complain, but at least give us at least a initial understanding of whether we are on the right track or not, right? If it doesn't work, we just grab it. If there's some sign that it might work, we'll say we continue to scale to make it better. And that's something I really love about Agoda, right? And it's true, a really great entrepreneurial spirit across the company, not only in the tech or the product team, but also in finance team, even in tax team. The culture and the mindset is very similar. Secondly is because Agoda is growing really quickly and also expanding really quickly globally, you never run out of things to do. What you work on, even last quarter, is entirely different than this quarter. Your scope is always expanding, it's always changing. You're always working on new things. So it's kind of like you get to move company without moving company, if you know what I mean. So that's also why I was able to find always more interesting things to do at Agoda. And that's, I guess, part of the reason why I was able to be with the company for so long. So now I'm heading the financial planning analysis team for Agoda. We are responsible for sort of translating the product work and the product ideas into what it means financially for Agoda, right? How does it impact Agoda as a company financially? And also give our senior leadership team a view of where we're heading based on the priority that we focus on today. So that's in a nutshell my responsibility today, and that's where I am right now. Career in financial services industry for a really long time. But I think at Agoda, there's a place for people from different professions. From marketing, we have also a very big marketing team. Very data-driven, of course. We have a legal team, tax team, so like usual companies, but very driven, very entrepreneurial, high ownership. So it's a very good place, I think, in general. So I don't know if we move to questions, Q&A now, or
Thank you so much, Bon. But before that, just want to shout out for those who wants to join Bon in Agoda or join me as well. Feel free to drop your email and name in the QR code below. Or if you have any questions, you can also drop it campus@agoda.com. And yeah, I think there are like few questions in the Q&A, especially the one that is for Bon. There's the one questions like, is the CFA designations beneficial for an FP&A career?
yeah, I see a few people typing blue. I don't know if you guys are from Michigan, but if you are, go blue. Okay, so the question, is CFA beneficial for FP&A? Not necessarily. I honestly, right? So this is like my personal opinion. it's not worth the time and the money. Because you have to take 3 level, that's like, I don't know, $3,000. But given you take only once for each level, and you spend a lot of time studying. It was quite a stressful experience for me, to be honest, because I also didn't have finance background. But in the end, it was rewarding. But now, if you go to my LinkedIn, I don't use it because I stopped paying, and it's because it's not very beneficial to what I do today. If I go back to financial services, maybe I'll bring it, I'll start paying again and bring it back. But if you as a graduate, right, if you don't know yet what you want to get into, you want to keep your options open, and you can allocate the time to do it. It doesn't hurt, right? Even just taking level 1, just you dip your feet in and see what it's like. Opening up your option to work in the financial service industry. Maybe spend even a few years in the financial service industry to see if you like it, right? So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I would like to also invite Alice from the campus recruitment as we have a questions for her. Is Alice present? But yeah, feel free to also drop questions. And if you don't have enough time, I think you can send the questions away to campus at Agoda, and I think can add Bon on LinkedIn, right, Bon, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Guys, I see as a master student with 3 or 4 years of prior experience with my previous work background, be valued when applying for internship. Of course, I think I can say that this will be like we at Agoda, I think I would say majority of our hire are experienced professional, right? And even in the internship, we look for people who we think eventually can join the team in full capacity. So I would say very, very valuable. Data analytics, not data science, tech team. So I don't know if other people can help me answer, but I would say data analytics. We have a dedicated data team at Agoda, like a very big data team, which also like do a lot of data analysis, right? Really digging into the data, finding insights, and not only as a part of tech, as a finance team, we also have data BI analytic teams. I believe it's the same for marketing, for supply team. Each team, because Agoda is such a data heavy driven company, as a finance in my team, I need BI sort of team to help support building dashboard, helping me with complex query to extract data that's needed for analysis. So I would say there's tons of opportunities for data analytics background at Agoda across the company, not only the tech team. What is the key attribute for a researcher if the team really focus on MVP and learn from contextual data? I'm not sure I understand the question. Sounds a bit complex. Key attribute for researcher. I guess I'm gonna assume it means like what are the skill set that a researcher would need when we focus on MVP, I guess. So an attribute I would say like move fast, learn fast, fail fast, right? And be really flexible. I would say sometimes people are, even at Agoda today, right? Some people are really invested in the product or the features or the work. And sometimes it has to let go because they spend so much time working on it. They believe in it. And I've seen tons of experience in the past where people just, the data is suggesting otherwise, but it's difficult for them to let go. So you really have to learn to be flexible, learn to trust the data, learn to let go, right? And that's how you move on to the next, could potentially move on to the next big thing.
Yeah, just want to add on that. I'm myself was not a big data person, but I think in Agoda, you learn that actually it helps you in so many ways as well. And what's good about Agoda is also you'll be able to learn, right? As long as the mindset of you that you want to use incorporate data in whatever you do. This also will answer questions related to how can you stand out is by quantifying your achievements. In the CV, don't just mention the job description of you're a social media specialist. I make content for social media. Well, that's not news, right? But if you're able to like to mention, I manage X amount of account and achieve X amount of, a conversion or something like that, you're able to put it, your achievement in that number. It's already data, right? So because it will happen when you're entry level, you want to discuss something with your manager and all that, it's easier for you to also phrase it in a data focus. So then it is the language that we use here in Agoda. Another thing I also want to highlight is sometimes fresh graduate, even me, myself, I don't even know what I want still in life, but I already know what I don't want to do, right? So don't burden yourself in knowing what you want, but eliminating the things that you don't want and choose a company that has many career growth opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, in Agoda, we are very strong in the internal mobility. We have many experience of people moving laterally. Even me, myself, I started in sales and now I'm in a campus recruitment, and a lot of stories from our interns who join in different department and they end up also in different department, or even they will go back to the original department, right? So we really heavy on this. We want to create experience for Agodans, whether it's from early careers or experience, allowing them to move around as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on that, we really do and promote the internal transfer. So I've had people in my team who are interested, who move to marketing, who move to supply team, and it's at the end of the day, it's career conversation with your manager, right? And to me, sometimes if you're really interested, I even go and talk to the head of the other team for you, to kind of make the connection for you, right? So if you're really great, we want to keep you. But if you're bored, we don't want to keep you in the team and you can leave anyways. So might as well kind of already also help in your career transition.
Yeah.
And have that career conversation talks regularly will be really helpful for the team.
Correct. So just want to highlight again, you may not see the perfect role for you when you explore careers at Agoda, but my personal advice to just get yourself in the door first, right? In Agoda, we don't just promote many roles. We don't want to lay off people just because we offer hire. So we really make sure that the role that we have is actually the role that we need, right? So try to match your CV to the job description that we are looking for, and then pass the assessment, and show your basically like match your skills to also our Agoda values during the interviews to highlight that, hey, you're already an Agodans by displaying all these values. And once you're already inside, you can also explore for different roles or even can negotiate on like the projects that you want to do, right? But the key is to just get yourself on the door, and yeah, able to quantify your achievements in your CV.
Yeah, I think there's still tons of questions. I'm not sure we have time to
Yeah, not sure.
continue.
Nam, do we have time or is it okay?
Running out of time, but do feel free to just answer their questions, like type their answer as you guys have been doing that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much for today. The presentation itself was amazing. Now I'm really interested in Agoda now because of your presentation, but thank you so much, and we will now be moving on to our next live session for today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Good time.
Wants to ask Agoda questions, so we have the one-on-one HR chat on our platform, as well as you can still keep asking questions in the Q&A as well. Just maybe add parentheses Agoda, just so that the people behind the scenes can answer from the right company. But thank you so much. Next up, we have a true HR person, Kun Gaeson Himgat from Travel and Leisure Co. Travel and Leisure Co. is the world's leading membership and leisure travel company, provides more than 6 million vacations for travelers every year. With over a decade of experience in the field, Kun Gaeson has been instrumental in shaping positive and productive work environments. A proud graduate of Prince of Songkla University, Kun Gaeson's expertise spans recruitment, employer branding, and employee retention. Her dedication to creating a diverse and inclusive workplace has led to significant achievements, including the recent recognition of her company as the best company to work in for Asia in the HR Asia Awards 2024. With her today, we have Leila Stojkovic, a seasoned senior talent acquisition specialist at Travel and Leisure Co. With over 20 years of experience in the hospitality industry, Leila has deep understanding of the unique challenges and opportunities in this dynamic